Hello everybody and welcome to episode I of the Thomas and Friends Guide. It was only upon making episode 1 that I realised I should probably try and make an episode that just covers the very basic rudimentary characteristics of the Wooden Railway range, and that's what this video is. So, let's begin by talking about probably the most typical item a lot of new collectors will come across. That is these, the name, coded and wheeled items. What do I mean by that? Well, these are items that have their names on them, a set of codes, and will have dated wheels. As you can see on this item, very faintly because it's a camera angle not very many people take a picture of, the wheels all have writing on them. For wooden railway items produced by Mattel and wood items, these will all say 2012, and for items produced by Learning Curve, these will differ. But for the most part, they'll say 2003, unless some other characteristics are not present, which we will get to. Moving on from that, we have the name. So it'll be printed up here, in a pretty standard font. Sometimes they did change it up, but that's a topic for another, more complex deep dive. And finally, we have the code. Now, I won't go into the intricacies of the code, because again, separate video, but all that you need to know is that the first 3 digits, that being in this case the O, the 23 and the 2 and the 3, mean that this item was produced on the 23rd day. Basically, the first 3 digits work in a day format. That is day of the year though. So you'll find items going from about 002 to about 365, with each day correlating to the year. So this is the 23rd day of this year. Now if it's a Mattel item, this final digit here pretty much is in the 2010s. So this would be 2015. The advantage with the codes with Thomas and why they're so simple to understand is you don't need to have a deeper understanding of the items surrounding it, mainly just what company it is it, and then the year. This is because Mattel stopped production of Thomas Wood. Mattel started production of Thomas in 2012 and ended wood production in 2021. As such, there is no crossover of the codes. In a similar vein, the earlier learning curves, which go on the same sort of format, minus this information here, do a very similar thing. They started in about 04, but they only went up to 2012. Next up, we just have names and wheels items. What these are mainly items that would have been produced in 2003 and 2004, although not all of 2004, and anything prior all the way back to 2001, with some exceptions that go back as far as 1999. All this basically is that the item will have a name and then a date on the wheels. In the case of this truck, this is a 2002 item. Put simply, if the item doesn't have a code, it's best to look for the date next, because it may shine a little bit of information onto the item. There are some 03s and 04s, like I said, that will have 03 on the wheels, but some of them can be dated to 04 if you look a bit deeper into the item's history. Next up, we have probably one of the larger groups, which is just wheels-only dates. That means that there is no writing and it's just dates on the wheels. This encompasses a lot of the items from 1994 all the way up to 2000 and even 1. There were some items in 01 that still did not have names on the chassis. Next up, we have Undated Only. Now, these are probably one of the smaller groups, and that's why this image here is not from my usual image getter, that being Thomas Train Exchange, all credit goes to him, but of a eBay user from the US. His name escapes me, but if I remember, I'll put it in the description. This is an item that has no name, and also no dates. These are pretty much a 1993, late 93, bear in mind, and 1994 thing. But this Rusty, which was apparently released in 95, also has the same characteristics. It's a very common thing with these Rusties. That's why this picture's here, because this does occur on other items. I've seen it personally on an Edward Tender, but it is very hard to find. I'd say this is one of the rarer things to come across. Which leaves us to the final one, which is undated wheels, but also staples. What makes the 1994s that I just talked about harder to find is the fact that a lot of those ones that have no dates on the wheels are stapled examples. Staples are, as far as I am aware, a pure 1993 change. As such, if your item has no dates on the wheels and staples, it can pretty much only be a 1993. And that concludes today's video. If you want a bit more of an in-depth look into other characteristics, such as the magnets, which can help you narrow down a year even more, I have a video up right now. That is episode 1 of the guide. So thank you all very much for watching, and bye for now.